starting the recording. Oh my. Okay. I respect it, but probably not needed. I also don't like this general regroup with your team. Just chill here. Just stay here, right? I know you use recall, right? But like, you want to control this part of the map so the Doomfist doesn't get us set up here for free. You don't need to chase him out here. You don't need to like walk around this corner for the most part. But you do need to like stop the enemy team from using this, right? Your team will, especially based on where they're set up, will generally control this side a lot better. And if you really need to, you can go all the way back around to fight another flanker going. But you do need to control this side. This side is really important. Like you're like what would you realistically do with this angle, right? If they were actually pushing this, right? You would just sit here, you would shoot that, right? Just need to camp the other side. Yeah. Like again, right? This feels bad. It feels real bad, right? Whereas here, right, you can thread the McCree. Or just generally make. Later on. Okay. Camping this is fine. Just keep in mind this is a hallway. Be careful about this. You sort of just need to just chill, right, and wait for him to walk into you, as opposed to peeking for him. Like super high risk. Like if you make too much noise, he knows where you are, right? Whereas, and if you just like he walks into you, then you can take the duel by juking his flash. But if he knows where you are, kind of it's much harder. Mine's kind of ending. Oh, like you DC'd there. You lagged out for a bit. Unlucky. Mouse died or something. Does Doom kill someone? Right? Oh, nice sleep. But again. Yeah, it's a lot easier to take the duel with the McCree if you can wait. If you can get a +1, you can hunt him down, right? But you kind of just need to mark him to actually kill him. Nice. Cross. This cross is really cool. For the Dooms on the right side somewhere. Actually, probably could have committed for. That again. Keep an eye on main. So when you're about to cross like this, make sure you check, like, you know, look both ways before you cross the street, right? Check to see if there's someone like trying to do something here. That way you don't get tagged by McCree on your way across, and you also can see if there's anyone who's trying to do something to affect your crossing. Also, again, not a huge fan of you crossing here. It's okay in the sense that like you know that your team's flexing, so if you get a big pulse here, it's big. But like, you also didn't go for the pulse, so it's like, why did you cross then? You got to shoot a Rhine shield with one clip. Turning back to this position. Like your team is sort of winning this off the value of Numbani defense. Like you're not really like a participant. Sort of just a bystander. Controlled the Doom, but he also wasn't doing anything to begin with. Although the fact he died late probably tilted his team. That's good. Right, again, just chill. Just chill. Wait for them to come out. Like, wait for them, your Rhine to, like, ideally your Rhine to be holding here, right? But wait for them to come out, right? And then go for your play, right? But, like, just chill. In the meantime, you can control this guy from doing what he wants, right? But don't get locked onto this, because this is really bad, right? Just chill here. Watch that side. Peek to look for anyone going main, right? Like, the Doomfist should almost never get a surprise cooldown to his basic, right? Part was super messy because you had your recall force super early. Oh, that was so fast I didn't even see what happened. Let's go on Luki. Okay, team is fragging. Oh, what? got here and the team just made it wrong. Well, you did not have enough time for that one. A little ambitious. High ground, that's good. So I think generally, you sort of make a decision when you come out here on whether or not you're going to try and control the right side of the map or the left side of the map. It's kind of awkward knowing which one to go through. The left side is generally a little bit more safe, like it's more consistent, but it's oftentimes harder. And depending on how your team sets up, it can be actually controlled. Because so this is just a guy with a Zarya here, right? Like a soldier and a Zarya. Like good luck ever left side, right? That's a decision you can make when you walk out. So. Yeah, and you see like because like the enemy team like the fact that this rotation takes so long and is really visible, and the fact that just generally like will play like kind of like this, um, because they know this is a really important flank. Like they're playing and they're already locked onto you, and they're also really far away. Right? This makes the game really difficult. Yes, controlling high ground is good, but it's only good. Your team is about to make an aggressive play here, so that all eyes get forced on them, and then you can just like kind of drop in on them from the back door. Otherwise, this side is much more consistent in terms of just controlling space. And you'd rather have like your echo control the high ground, right? So your echo control the high ground, you control like the kind of the messy like low ground side where it's like difficult to catch people and there's a lot of corners. That lets you make plays and actually get close to people for you. And that's just really hard, right? You get shot the whole time, right? Again, you're still getting shot. When you see your Rhine on this side, right? Again, when you recall it, go this way, I think. Just much more. And you'd pull attention away from your Rhine that way. Yeah, and then everyone dies before you get a chance to do it. Good. Oh. Dead. Oh. These bees, what the? Ryan and Lucy are just in. Yeah, so again, right, if we think about the angles, right, this is an Ashe angle, right? Because this angle is only relevant for the back door, right? In terms of like, if you think about like whether or not the flank will give you the back door, this only gives you the back door if the card is here, right? So if the card is here, the card is around here, this angle becomes super strong for backdooring, right? Because that means their supports are here, right? And likewise, this angle also becomes that path right there. Okay. So if the card is here, right, this angle is strong for backdooring, and this angle is strong for backdooring, right? But if you think about where the card is, right, which is over here, right? If you look at it, this is the right, find a better camera. So because the card is back here, this becomes the long angle, right? Which is not the angle Tracer wants. So you need to, like, we went over this on King's Row as well, right? But there's like the angle, relative short long angles depend on where the cart is, right? Or where the enemy team, like where your team intends to fight, right? Because it's a long angle, this is a Tracer, not a Tracer angle, this is an Ashe angle, or a Widow angle, or a Soldier angle, maybe even a Kree angle. It's kind of longer Kree, but like a Hanzo angle, right? Torb angle. But this is not a Tracer angle. A Tracer angle, this side, because this is the close side, right? See how that works? I'm asking retroactively or like in recording. But like if you go this way, this lets you hit. This actually lets you come out from the side, right? Or alternatively, at least hold this spot so that way when they push in, the red team goes and draw. When the red team like pushes deeper, you can hit them. You can side or at least just generally hold this side of the map. Push in if you feel like you can get it if they're not paying attention. But this is the long angle, and you're kind of prioritizing the wrong thing here. Pulse ball. Oh. They bubble. It would have been bad pulse. Alright, they're dead. We look at what the card is, right? If we still think about it, this is still a pretty long angle, right? And also in the general direction they're already going to be facing. Right? Whereas this is still a really short angle. And notice that their soldier, because notice how the way the soldier also approaches. Because for him, the situation is flipped, right? So if he were to go this way, now this is a relatively short angle because he brings himself in closer contact with you guys. Whereas this for him is the longer angle because based on where the card is at, more likely to be like backline on this side, right? So like he knows that your team is going to skew towards left. That's why it's important for you to hold here because like you need to like reverse that trend because you're the solo flanker. And he's going to play this side because it's the long angle. Like high ground is relatively safe. For him, it's a long angle, unless there's a tracer just walking in a spawn. But you know, you get the idea. Because you're gonna come out, and the Ashe is gonna look at, or sorry, the Ashe. The Ana's just gonna look at you, right? And then like you're gonna try to work your way closer. You get shot and slip, and this is entirely because of the direction you ended up going from, right? Like you ended up on this side, so you push from this side, and then she just makes you sad. So you need to recognize early on that you can't actually do this unless your team is fighting here, right? Unless the cart, unless you let the cart move up a lot, and most of the time that involves your team dying, right? So instead, like hunt the tracer, find her, kick her out, right, and then drift towards this side, unless your team's dying, and then you reset and just chill here until the cart starts moving. But this is like death was yeah, unfortunate, but like it was because you forced it from the front, right? The front changes, right? Where the direction the front is facing depends on the cart.
Rendezvous at my position.
Alright. The offense. The Genji. Ooh. Hi. Hi. Ooh. Genji. Oh, hello, Ryan. Hello, supports. Swell flying. Alright, so minor things. That whole sequence is really fast, so it's kind of hard to talk about. But because it's a lot of like minor recognition stuff. So this case, you already knew he was kind of low because you saw his health, and you also saw he wasn't getting healed, right? Which means that there's no support here, or the sword is being lazy, right? Which means it's probably already worth it to dash at this guy because you might kill him, right? And either way, you force him out. So like you dash and then you just back off away from the Zarya. You just like run away from her, and you try and kill him, right? If like he doesn't run away. But now that the Rhine showed, right, this is a bit different, right? There's Rhine here, so now we're looking for anything else to shoot at. So this looks really juicy. So this is a really good turn. There's a lot of Genjis who get sucked up by this and just like dash at it and useless. Right, this is really good. So as soon as you see these two guys lined up and you realize you're hitting headshots, this should be a dash. It's the idea of using dash as like a finisher is something that's kind of overdone, or just like people like think too much about using dash to finish, right? Just, like right now this is 100 AoE damage on two people who like don't really want to heal and are definitely looking at something else, right? So nades on cooldown, you if you like, you may not realize that amp is probably also on cooldown, and he's on speed anyways, right? So as soon as I see this, I honestly just dash at this and go for right-click melee right afterward, right? And if I don't kill them, they'll be low enough that they'll probably die after that, and then I get a reset. So like you played this really conservatively. Do you see how like instead of moving towards them, you're actually jumping away from them, right? And that's sort of the opposite direction you want to go. So as Genji, there tends to be like a distinct poke phase and then a distinct brawl phase. And once you're in the brawl phase, it's kind of hard to get out without committing cooldown. Which is why pathing and like taking odd flanks and stuff like that is so important for Genji, because like it lets you go for an assassination attempt while also using your cooldown to get out, right? But poke phase, right? Like this is not poke phase anymore. This is they're in, right? The enemy supports are committed, right? So at this point, right, you're in brawl phase. You need to be walking towards supports, right? Unless you're low, right? Which you're not, because you have full resources, right? You have everything except ammo, I guess. So at that point, right, you should be trying to go for like you should be trying to like look for kills, right? Instead of backing away. Like in terms of micro, this tells me that you're not actually thinking about going to sports because you're literally moving away from them. Then you realize, oh, he's really low, and then you dash on him. Right? But that's not the way it should be working. It should be like, oh my god, they're both here, and I'm hitting shots. I'm going in, right? Get the kill, that's cool, right? That dash is also cool. Yeah. Just generally speaking, you spent a lot of time in that fight running away from this, opposed to like walking out. Like right here again. I was thinking about I thought I forgot something because like I messed up something like I didn't see walking Ana here, but right here, right, you get on top of the Ana, you have to reload, which is unfortunate, right? But this Ana has like essentially no cooldowns, right? You just saw her use nade, right? She might have sleep, I don't really know. Find out. She has no sleep. So at this point, all you need to do is climb a wall and then start trying to jump over her head, right? And that's a really hard shot for her to hit because her gun is projectile. But instead, you back off, climb a wall away from her, right? And you're gonna keep backing off, right? You just keep running. And then you try to deflect and walk at her, and that's too late, right? That's too late. You gotta because walking at people is super risky, but being above them, like double jumping above them, is super hard for them to do, right? But like if like for example, a Tracer, right? like blink at somebody, that's really easy to deal with, right? But blinking through someone is really hard. Same idea. So instead of going through people as Genji, you get above them, and it's really really difficult for them to do. But you can only be above them if you're already next to them, or we're already close. So conceptually, you need to be like less willing to walk away from supports unless you have nothing, right? You're afraid of going, unless you feel like you can get out, and you're afraid of dying. But in this case, right, um, uh, even if you're afraid of dying, like where are you supposed to go, right? The Ana's just gonna shoot you out, right? So you gotta commit for the kill. And again, you try to run away from her, right? Because you like it was too one-dimensional walking at her, bubble, right? But like tried to run away from her and then like died again, like gets the help. What, you lived? I thought for sure you died there. What the? Nice dash. Dash again, right? Yeah. Again, dash puts you close to people, which helps you secure kills. Like you don't need to go for the finish. The dash, right? Just apply pressure. He has to get out, right? So immediately, like this is a sign to go over here, right? You don't necessarily have to dash at this guy. You can also climb the wall. It opens you up to a big headshot though, so just probably don't want to finish the entire dash, entire wall climb, or you want to wall climb on the side slightly. That way, if he dashes away poorly, you can hunt him down for the kill. But dashing him is also totally fine. It pushes them out early. Then after that, just take this high ground, right? Get as close to them as you can above them. And not a fan of using deflect like that. So the way to think about it is that deflect is like your invulnerability button. So like you use it to like deflect cooldowns when you're committed, right? So oftentimes people won't commit big cooldowns to Genji until they see deflect, right? So deflect is really valuable for like when you get in and you force them to use a cooldown because you're going to kill them otherwise, right? And then you deflect, then you cancel it, and then you kill them, right? But just using deflect to get a little bit more of a poke phase is only relevant if you're going to stay in poke phase, right? So if you look at it, there's only this much time left to cap. The enemy team is here and running in, right? There's not much time to poke phase. Either you capped and it doesn't matter that you used deflect, right? Or they're going to take a fight and you're going to be really sad that you used it. I don't like that dash. Just took you way out of the fight. Right? I know you want to put damage in, but you want to dash more to the ground, like, and you want to land it like right here, and that way you can climb up, then you're right back in position. This is really far. This will take you an extra 2-3 seconds, easily, and that can be the difference in this kind of fight, right? Oh, the panic! That was good. That was a good reaction wall. Oh, this is so early. All right, again. So, team's about to go in. Your team is making plays, right? But because the order you showed in, right? You got to use both cooldowns to get out, and you're way out of the fight. And again, Genji is not a very self-sustaining hero like Tracer, so just need to chill here, and like not focus, right? Just chill. Now you're just effectively down 70 HP for the fight. Right, and that damage, like if like, first of all, like again, timing-wise, the Rhine was still here, so not time for him to make your move. And generally speaking, this is why you don't want to go this side in particular, because it limits your options, right? This side in general is much stronger because you can just choose to go underneath. You can grab the Mega this way. You can out over here and grab the Mini. Drop back this way and grab the Mega, right? This side is much more limited in terms of paths you can take. So you generally don't want to commit to it. And then also, if you had more health, you probably would have survived. You wouldn't have survived much longer, probably, but you would have lived at the initial burst. Likely.
Enemy contact.
Dash. Get a kill. Nice. He just grabbed the Mega. So he dashed down, so this is a really good chance to push him. Because he didn't dash to regroup with supports, he dashed down, now he's isolated. This is really passive. It's like, if if you're wrong, right, and you're wrong, and the supports are just staring you down right here, right, you can just deflect and back up, right? If you mess up and you get like you still get hit somehow or something, like cancel your deflect by accident, you can literally dash away, and no problem because the fight's not about to start. But this is your opportunity to find another solo pick off, and that can just win the point for you. Because like that Genji just really messed up. Keep in mind that climbing this is faster, but this is much safer. So not you don't always have to do this, but keep in mind that if you don't know what's on your left, like you don't check, right? Again, both ways for crossing the street. If there's an Ana literally staring you down right here, you don't want to climb in front of her. So instead, you would swing, or you would shoot a couple of shurikens or something side, climb this wall, the wall from this direction as opposed from this. I have no idea. Need a bit more patience there. Yeah, you either need to respond to the Genji faster or wait out the bubble. There were a lot of in between. Like, what? How did she get pinned? Genji kill, or rank kill. Remember the Lucius to your right, you can hunt him down. Dash. Looking for the okay, this is also okay actually. Skill. Yeah, deflect is your protection button. You see how important that was for living there? You actually would have died if you didn't have it. Skill. That's so greedy. If you want to blade, just like run over her and then if you want to dash through her. Try not to get hit by the Rhine and open up distance between and then climb the wall right after basically up, right? Or, right, because you were here, right? Because you were here, you can literally just go over this side and still be in position. Drop, go for like right click dash through. Right? But trying to like dash into the Rhine, I know that like you maybe pay attention to the Rhine, but dashing into the Rhine and blading is like they literally did not even look at you, right? They threw a nade at the ground, they just swung a hammer at the monkey, and you died. Which just really feels bad. Alright. He wins though, nice. It was good to focus on the Yana though. Like in general, like that was the right spot to be looking, and you comboed with your monkey. Not inherently bad. Or it was like inherently really good. Just the execution. Oh, doing this 180 practice. Yeah, so you want to chill. You want to chill against this wall. It's your cover, right? Don't not too wide. If you want to get a different angle, what you do is you climb up instead, right? You climb up a bunch, and then like your angle becomes different, and it becomes very difficult. He has to like really look up to shoot, and that takes focus away from other things. Alternatively, against double hit scan, you can just hide out over here. Hide out over here. Generally speaking, they won't check it, and you get an easy assassination, right? Wait for like, oh, outplay him. Not a huge fan of this Rhine dash. Again, like it takes you away from this, and it also exposes you. Again, this is your priority, the backline, not the Rhine. And on top of that, based on where you saw the Ana was earlier, you actually saw. I think you saw. One second. Okay, gonna have to wrap this up in a second. But yeah. Right here, you see the Ana shot, right? So because you know he's getting healed, you cannot kill him anymore. It's physically impossible. So just give up, do something else, right? And try to get on the backline instead. Or at least threaten the backline. You can poke the Rhine from safety if you want, but like keep an eye on this and start climbing the wall. The wall is like, if the McCree pushes you, the wall is what, being on top of the wall is what will save you, right? You don't know he's coming. But this is like really, it's just not gonna happen. But instead, you could be just like walking in right now, right? And being like here as the ball slams, right? Or not as the ball slams, but like right now, like you could realize like as your ball's going in, you start moving forward, then this would be a dash kill. Or an extra shuriken because you're closer. They gave up high ground, not a huge fan of that, especially when they're dash back to your team. again, sorry. Oh, a soldier. What? Alright, forget the soldier. You got to make a play, right? There's stuff happening here. Get the soldier. Tell your team about it and then leave. Because again, he's going to go the long angle that you cannot deal with. It's way too long. Got owned. But like, he died, yes, but like how much of that was actually you, right? And versus now you're like really late to catch up. So you see your soldier here, right? Which means you want to be over here, right? You want to generate crossfires on the high ground. This is kind of bad. You don't want to be here. Like your angle's the same, right? You don't apply any real extra pressure that your soldier's not already doing. Soldier ended up on low ground somehow. I forget how. Like, whew, the outplay. That deflector's probably not it, because again, you have dash coming up, which means that if you had dash, you could go in for the kill. You could go in for the play on the Ana, right? Again, you spent this entire fight basically on low. Like now, you have to go in. You're considering this, right? And she almost sleeps. With deflect, you could just actually sleep her and finish the kill and then leave, right? You're only a second off deflect, which means that you're just like, imagine you just had it and went in earlier. The Ana kills 3 people. Your team caps though, which is crazy. Anyways, I'm gonna end the VOD here. But overall, for your tracer, you need to be more considerate of what is the long angle and what is the short angle. So on first point, this is almost always the short angle, right? This is almost always the long angle relative to the important spots of the map to control in main, right? If they're always going this way, you don't have to do anything because the map will do the heavy lifting for you, right? So just protect the short angle, and like push the short angle. But you don't really want to push long angles, like this one, right? This is pretty long, right, out here, versus this, which is short, right? On third, it gets messy because the short and long angle changes based on where the card is. So that's some stuff you have to consider, like King's Row. What else? And then for your Genji, I don't know how much you play Genji, but you've got to prioritize high ground more. You create crossfires and get behind them as much as you can, and you need to go for backline, just like Tracer, right? And you need to save cooldowns to go for the backline, right? It's a little bit different than Tracer Blinks, because Tracer you can use ability, but like having double cooldowns to attack the backline is really valuable. Like deflecting on a nade, even if you don't actually like get the nade buff or do the nade damage or anything with the nade, as long as you stop her from using the nade by kicking it somewhere else, right? That's super value. I'm like gesturing all over the place. And then that's like the really big stuff. So save cooldowns for engages as Genji, take high grounds, right? And be more willing to like pressure backline, right? Like once you're in, you're in. And stay committed to the idea, right? Not really you can't really have like 1 foot in, 1 foot out like Tracer can. So, yeah. Gonna have to end it here. Let me know if this is helpful. Any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. And